Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our next chapter. First of all, congratulations to each and every one of you on completing Chapter 1. This is an exciting achievement, especially since you're just beginning your journey in accounting, and I'm proud of the hard work you've already put in. Learning accounting is a big step, and each chapter brings you closer to building a strong foundation that will help you understand business finances and so much more. You're doing amazing, so keep up the great energy. Today, we're diving into Chapter 2, titled Assets, Liabilities, and the Accounting Equation. This chapter is an essential one because it covers the very basics that make up all of accounting, so it's definitely worth getting excited about. Let me give you a quick overview of what we'll learn in this chapter. 1. Introduction to Accounting Fundamentals. We'll begin with the essentials, some key concepts and ideas that will help you feel more comfortable with accounting language and what it all means. 2. Assets and Liabilities. Next, we'll learn about two very important terms, assets and liabilities. These are the resources a business owns and owes, and understanding them is key to knowing what the business is really worth. 3. The accounting equation. Here, we'll see how assets and liabilities connect with a concept called the accounting equation. This equation is like a basic rule in accounting, and it will help us see how a company's finances are balanced. 4. Accounts payable and accounts receivable. Then, we'll go into the money a business owes and is owed by others. This will help you understand how businesses track money coming in and going out. 5. Double entry bookkeeping. This is one of the most important skills in accounting. You'll learn how every transaction has two sides to keep the books balanced. 6. Capital expenditure and revenue expenditure. Lastly, we'll look at two different kinds of spending, capital and revenue. Understanding these will help you see the difference between spending for long-term growth versus day-to-day costs. By the end of this chapter, you'll have a strong understanding of these key topics, and they'll be a big help as we move forward. Let's dive in, keep up the motivation, and make the most of this chapter. All right, let's break this down step by step so it's much easier to follow. I'll keep it simple and straightforward to help you feel confident about what these paragraphs are really saying. Starting with double entry bookkeeping. In accounting, double entry bookkeeping is one of the most important ideas to understand. Think of it as the backbone of accounting because it's the method used to record every single business transaction. When we say double entry, it simply means that every financial transaction affects at least two accounts, not just one. For example, if a company buys equipment, it will increase its assets because they now have the equipment and decrease its cash because they paid for it. This way, the books always balance. So this chapter will introduce you to these double entry principles, which work for both cash and credit transactions. Whether a company is paying immediately with cash or agreeing to pay later on credit, the double entry system is applied. By learning these basics, you'll get a strong foundation in accounting. Why these basics matter for your learning. The first few chapters of your course, chapters 1 to 4, are all about these fundamental ideas in accounting, especially double entry bookkeeping. These chapters are designed to give you the building blocks of accounting knowledge. It's essential to understand the basics presented here, as they'll help you handle all the topics that follow, including financial accounting. Think of these chapters as your foundation. If you understand them well, the rest of accounting will be easier to grasp. Exam tip: why you need to master double entry. In your exams, questions about double entry bookkeeping are very common and are often asked in multiple choice format. Having a good grasp of this topic will make answering these questions easier and will help you feel more prepared. Plus, understanding double entry and the basics of accounting will help you later on when you learn about more practical accounting tasks like handling cash, credit, and payroll transactions in other parts of the course. So, stay focused as we go through these basics. They're going to set you up for success, not just in your exams, but also in understanding real-world accounting. All right, let's break this sentence down as if we're sitting together in a classroom. A business owns assets and owes liabilities. Let's start with the two new words here, assets and liabilities. 1. Assets. These are things that a business owns. Think of assets as anything valuable that belongs to the business and can help it make money. For example, a business might own things like cash, equipment, buildings, or vehicles. Just like you might own a phone or a computer, a business has its own valuable items too. Those are called assets. 2. Liabilities. These are things that a business owes. Liabilities mean the business has borrowed money or needs to pay back money at some point. For instance, if the business took out a loan or needs to pay suppliers for goods it received, those are its liabilities. So, liabilities are like the business's debts or what it owes to others. So, in simple words, we can say, a business has things it owns, assets, and things it owes, liabilities. This is a basic idea that we'll use often in accounting. It's the starting point for understanding a business's financial situation. The things a business owns give it value, and the things it owes are what it needs to pay back. Does that make sense? Imagine your own things you own versus things you owe, and then think about it from a business's point of view. That's the essence of assets and liabilities. All right, let's talk about what we mean by assets in very simple terms, just like we're sitting in a classroom together. What are assets? First, assets are simply things that belong to a business and help it operate. Think of assets as the tools and resources a business uses to make money and keep things running smoothly. Imagine if you were starting your own business. You would need things like a computer, maybe a car, cash, or even some goods to sell. All these things would help your business operate and grow. Those items would be your assets. 2 types of assets. There are 2 main types of assets. 1. Non-current assets. These are assets that the business plans to keep for a long time. They're usually bigger items that aren't quickly used up. For example, machinery, equipment used for manufacturing or production. Office premises, the building or space where the business operates, like an office or a factory. 2. Current assets. These are assets that the business will likely use up, sell, or turn into cash within a year. Current assets include inventory, goods that the business has in stock waiting to be sold to customers. Accounts receivable, money owed to the business by customers who bought on credit, meaning they'll pay later. Cash, money the business has on hand in the bank or ready to use. Examples of assets. To make this even clearer, here are some common examples of assets that you might find in a business. Factories and office buildings, places where work happens or products are made. Warehouses, buildings where goods are stored. Delivery vans and lorries, vehicles used to transport goods or services. Machinery and equipment, machines that help with production or operations. Computers and office furniture, basic equipment that keeps the office functioning. Cash, money available for use in the business. Goods held in store inventory, products waiting to be sold to customers. Raw materials and components. These are the materials a manufacturing business might keep to make products. In summary, to sum it up, an asset is anything valuable that the business owns or can use to run the business. Assets help the business make money and keep things running day to day. When we understand assets well, we get a clearer picture of what the business owns and how it's able to operate. Hope that makes sense. Remember, assets are simply resources the business owns to help it succeed. All right, now let's look at non-current assets and current assets in more detail, just like we're continuing our lesson together. Non-current assets. First, let's talk about non-current assets. These are assets that a business keeps and uses for a long time. Think of non-current assets as the big items or long-lasting resources that help a business run for years. Imagine a business owns an office building. This building is used by the staff, maybe as a workspace, and it could be owned for many years without needing to be replaced. Similarly, think about machinery in a factory. Machinery is also a non-current asset because it can last a long time, sometimes many years, before it needs repairs or replacement. Non-current assets are usually expensive and are intended to last, so the business doesn't buy or sell them frequently. They're more like investments that help the business operate for the long haul. Examples of non-current assets: buildings and office spaces, machinery and equipment used in production, vehicles like trucks or delivery vans that the business owns, furniture and large office equipment. These are assets that stick around in the business for a while, supporting long-term operations. Current assets. Now let's look at current assets. These are assets that a business only holds for a short time, typically less than a year. Current assets are usually things that a business plans to sell, use up, or turn into cash quickly. Because they don't last long, they move in and out of the business more frequently. For example, think about a newsagent's shop that sells newspapers and magazines. Newspapers have to be sold the same day because they quickly lose value after that. Magazines and weekly publications also need to be sold quickly, or they become outdated and harder to sell. These are examples of current assets because they only stay in the business for a short period before they're sold. In other businesses, inventory, the goods they sell, and accounts receivable, money customers owe the business but will pay soon, are also current assets. The faster a business can sell these goods and collect payment, the more money it makes. Examples of current assets: cash, money that the business has available right now. Inventory, goods waiting to be sold to customers. Accounts receivable, money owed to the business by customers who will pay soon. So, to wrap up, non-current assets are long-lasting and help run the business for years, while current assets are short-term and move in and out of the business quickly, helping it make money in the short run. Both types are important for the business, but serve different purposes. Does that make it clearer? Just remember, non-current assets last longer and current assets are short-term. This will be very useful as we move forward with more accounting concepts. All right, let's dive into liabilities now. Just like we did with assets, let's go through what liabilities mean in a simple way. What are liabilities? Liabilities are simply the amounts of money that a business owes to others. In other words, liabilities are debts that the business has to pay back at some point in the future. These could be amounts owed to a bank, suppliers, or even the government. In accounting, we use the word liabilities to describe all these different kinds of debts. Whenever a business has borrowed money or has an outstanding bill, it's a liability. Examples of liabilities. To make this easier, let's look at some common examples. 1. Bank loans or bank overdrafts. Imagine a business takes out a loan from a bank. The business will eventually have to pay this money back, along with any interest charged by the bank. Until it is paid off, this loan amount is a liability. Similarly, if a business has a bank overdraft, which means it has used more money than what it has in its bank account, the amount overdrawn is also a liability. 2. Amounts owed to suppliers, also called accounts payable. Sometimes, a business buys things it needs on credit rather than paying right away. Let's say a boat builder buys timber, wood, from a supplier to build boats. The supplier agrees that the boat builder doesn't have to pay immediately, but can pay later. Until the boat builder pays for this timber, the amount owed to the supplier is a liability. We often call this type of liability accounts payable because it is money the business owes to suppliers who have provided goods or services. 3. Taxes owed to the government. A business must also pay taxes on its profits. However, there is usually a delay between when the business earns its profit and when it actually pays the tax. During this time, the amount of tax that needs to be paid is a liability to the government. The government becomes the account payable until the tax bill is settled. Why are liabilities important? Liabilities are essential because they tell us what the business owes and help us understand the full financial picture of the business. Just like a person might have a loan or credit card debt to pay back, a business has its own debts, and these need to be carefully managed. So, in summary, liabilities are what the business owes to others. They include things like bank loans, accounts payable to suppliers, and taxes owed to the government. Knowing the total amount of liabilities helps us understand how much debt the business has and how much it needs to pay back in the future. Hope that makes it easier to understand. Remember, liabilities are simply the business's debts, amounts it owes to others. This will be very useful as we continue with more accounting concepts.